everyone. In this video, we are looking at transition words and phrases. And so transitions can come in a number of formats, and it's a very broad category, but we can break it down into three main categories that we see transitions. So transition words usually are either adding something, like it could be the word also or additionally, or they might contrast. So that might be words like however, yet, or it could be causation with words like consequently, or even because can be a transition word at times. So again, transition words are not like just a specific type or a part of speech, you know, the way a noun, a verb, or an adjective is. A lot of different types of words and phrases can fall into the category of transitions. But we have to get used to identifying when we're being asked to choose the best transition. And so we do this really quickly by just looking at answers. So before we even read this question, if we just quickly glance at the answers here, we can see that this is going to be asking us what the best transition word to use is. So this is an example of being asked about the best transition between clauses. So just within a sentence itself, what is the best transition word to use? So by the end of the 1980s, Justin Berner had found almost all of the new prime numbers throughout the decade. Moreover, he was still not satisfied with his mathematical accomplishments. So we are linking two independent clauses here. So Justin Berner had found almost all the prime numbers, and then he was still not satisfied with his mathematical accomplishments. So moreover is not going to work because these two are contrasting each other. This is saying, you know, even though he had all these accomplishments, he was not satisfied. So consequently would fall into causation. However is a contrast word, so let's keep that in the running. And then additionally is an addition word. So however would be our best choice here, because if we're looking at the two spots that we are linking, or the two independent clauses we are linking, they have contrasting ideas in them. And so something that can be good to do is just review a list of transition words. And in this video, if you find that you're not recognizing some of the words, if you're like, what does consequently mean? Or, you know, I don't really have a good understanding of when to use nevertheless. It might be helpful to spend some time looking at common transition words and phrases used and just review the definitions of them. So we've looked at how to choose the best transition word between clauses. Let's take a look at the best transition word between sentences. All right, you panic, you scream, you think you may become ill. Furthermore, only seconds pass before the static line, which is a rope attached to you and to the floor of the plane, becomes tight and yanks open your chute automatically. So we are linking this sentence right here, you think you may become ill, with the next one, only seconds pass before the static line. Just to help it make it a little bit easier, let's take out this interrupter that explains what the static line is. So you think you may become ill. Furthermore, only seconds pass before the static line becomes tight and yanks open your chute automatically. So furthermore, no change. That would be in addition. Are we trying to add on to this? You think you may become ill. Additionally, only seconds pass before the static line becomes tight and yanks open your chute. An addition might not be our best choice here, but let's keep looking. However, so that would be a contrast. Thus would be causation, and so would consequently, because those would both be transition words that causation, left out my A there. Those would both be words saying, as a result, this happened. So since these two are so similar, we can actually get rid of them. And you think you may become ill, only seconds pass before your chute opens? Well, contrast makes the most sense because you don't get ill. So you think you may become ill. However, only seconds pass before the static line becomes tight and yanks open your chute automatically. So quickly being able to recognize which transitions actually mean the same thing will allow you to get rid of them, eliminate more choices, and then we can say, well, this is definitely not an addition, so we're left with contrast. Or we could recognize that, contrast is the best fit here because ultimately the person does not become ill and instead the parachute is opened. So finally, what I think can be one of the most challenging transitions to figure out is when it's asking you for a transition word between paragraphs. And here, this isn't even a transition word. This is asking you for a full transition sentence. So it's asking you right here to place a sentence between these two paragraphs. So we have paragraph 1 right here. Then we have paragraph 2 right here. So we need to put one more sentence in between them. So let's think about how the perspective changes and how the ideas change between these two paragraphs. While the harmonica was originally marketed as a child's toy, it eventually became a valued portable instrument for folk and blues musicians. Then, at age 15, I decided to roll in a blues harmonica class. So we can see how the perspective shifts a little bit here. This is giving us a little bit more of the history or background of this instrument, where this one is telling us more about the author's relationship with the harmonica. So we are trying to find the best sentence that's going to link the history and then the author's personal experience. So, A, as the reader can see, the harmonica isn't the simple children's toy we so often think it is. Well, this doesn't really make sense because that's not linking the information to the new information. This has nothing to do with the author's personal relationship with the harmonica, as we see here. Looking at B, there you have some of the history of the harmonica. We've talked about, clear and concise writing for the ACT, and also this is formal writing. So not only is this becoming colloquial and less formal, it's also shifted the perspective and included you in there. And again, this does not link the idea of the history and background to the author's relationship with it. So looking at C, as can be seen, I'd always been interested in the harmonica. That can't be seen in this paragraph. This doesn't tell us that the author had always been interested in the harmonica. So C would not be our best choice either. So we're left with D. Despite this accumulation of harmonica lore, I still couldn't play. This is so clearly our best choice because it links the background, the accumulation of harmonica lore, with the author's personal relationship with the harmonica. So when you are asked to choose a transition between sentences or between paragraphs, you always need to make sure that you have evidence for a clear link to each section, the one before it and the one after it.